lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite books that came out this week, The Return of Usagi Yojimbo. Been a little bit of a break between ongoing series, which, as you can see, is now at Dark Horse under the Dogu Publishing imprint, which is Stan's own imprint that he's now going to produce Usagi titles under at Dark Horse. And if you've had a chance, I did an interview with Stan. That's I'll link this at the end of the video, or link that at the end of the video so you can check it out. But he kind of talks about some of the plans that will be taking place with Usagi going into the 40th anniversary, which is insane to have the same creator do a creation for that long. I mean, you don't see it often. I mean, I think the next one I could think of consistently working on the same book, doing the writing and drawing, would be Eric Larson on Savage Dragon. I don't think anybody else is consistently producing the character they created in this form uninterrupted, so very excited to be able to talk about this. This is going to take place after the last story arc, the Green Dragon. So Usagi and Yukichi is his cousin, which was a new character introduced in the IDW run, and that's who that is right there, are now going to be, they're in the snowy mountaintops of northern Japan. Return of a specific adversary who we'll see in here. I love the cover. Beautiful cover. I mean, as you can see, as a painted cover, it's just absolutely beautiful. A bunch of cool variants that came out for this book as well, whether it's, store exclusive, bunch of creators did some dope stuff with it, but very excited. I love the fact that they're doing the legacy numbering right here, so this is issue 270 of Usagi and the ongoing saga of everyone's favorite Ronin Rabbit, dude. So I'm very excited about this. And as you can see, there's something underneath this book. This is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. So this book from Dark Horse is in color, while this is just the line art. Now, going back to the history of Usagi, it's long been a black and white comic, with the exception of the IDW run, which was completely in color. I was kind of hoping, maybe we could get more of these. I did ask Stan, have you thought about maybe doing some more black and white stuff? Because that's what I think of when I think of Usagi. But, he made a good point. There's not a lot of black and white comics being produced now. It's not the same as when Usagi was created, which was in the 80s, right? Like the whole black and white boom. But I just thought I would bring both issues just to kind of show the difference. I love this. But also the difference of these two books is that this also has the Yokai Hunter preview in it as well. So this has the full issue 1, complete with line art, right? As you can see, beautiful. I love seeing Stan's stuff with, just straight black and white. But in the back, we'll get the preview for Yokai Hunter, which is going to be a one-shot that I believe comes out in October of this year. And so we get a little preview of that as well. There's also going to be stuff, just real quick, just to, so we can get back to the regular book, some Space Usagi stuff, which one of them is going to be the one shot, which is new material. And then we are also going to see the old material now in color. So yes, it is going to be reprinting stuff, but it is different because it is the first time that we will see it in color. I love this too. At the back, you get a Stan Lee quote, which is from a forward in one of the Usagi Saga collections that you can check out. But yeah, just really excited to see Usagi Yojimbo at Dark Horse again under an imprint. The plans for the character are really awesome. And I also love this setting. For some reason, I really have always liked settings in the snow. Obviously, if this were a comic book where you're fighting and you're seeing blood, that's always a kind of a cool effect. But that's not what we read Usagi for. It's not violent book in the sense that you're seeing a bunch of blood. There's great fight scenes, though. I love this. And I like that he always continues it. It doesn't matter what publisher it's been with, and he'll talk about that in the back of the book. The long history, multiple publishers. It's all one continuing story, and it is because it has a singular creator, right? You have him writing and drawing. And I love the dynamic now with Usagi having his cousin Yukichi as kind of like a foil, as they're traversing, the mountaintops. And of course they run into somebody. The fighting ensues. This is this is what I love probably the most. I love the fighting that Stan does, because like in the middle you'll see like Stu look like he got choked out, right? Like just fantastic cartooning. You can really feel the weight of him getting hit right there, right? You know, he growls and they're like, oh crap, we got to get out of here. You just see them running off. So I really love that. We get the return of, you know, Jay and his, you know, his familiars, like, you know, Keiko's with him too, and they're on, you know, on Usagi's trail as well, kind of following him through the mountaintops, killing one of these little creatures. I love these little like dinosaur looking creatures as well. So, you know, Usagi and Yukichi, they come upon this hut in the middle of nowhere, and even being called out, like, did you know it was here? It was as if someone took my hand and guided me here. So that's kind of interesting right there. You know, they just need shelter, and you see this interesting character here, right? Kichi's obviously like, she's beautiful inside, you know, thank you. It's cold outside, you know, they want it. Thank you for the hospitality. But then also, Jay and Keiko coming upon another hut, right? And then this is where all the bandits have now been. And they're not as welcoming, right? Obviously, they're like, you can't just barge in here. Who the hell do you think you are? Move away from the hearth. The girl is cold. Who are you to talk to us like that? And then just that look. What? And I love the reaction. They immediately back off. Just really creepy with like the lack of pupils, just straight white eyes. I've always thought that was super creepy. And even in color, it looks fantastic. So this is obviously the leader of the bandits. He's not having it. He's like, I'm the toughest of them all. I've got a bounty on my head in 3 provinces. Don't disrespect me. Jay just sitting there calmly, getting attacked, nothing, and then boom. Makes short work of him, choking him out. Keiko playing the flute right here. This is really great. Like, as he's choking him out, you could just see like the progression, like the lack of air, and then just the look right here is so awesome. Throws it to the side, all the bandits just looking. I love when Stan does this too, where he'll have like the war balloon, but it's like a skull signifying death. That's always been something that has stood out to me about him that I really love. By the way, he not only writes and draws the book, he letters it, and I kind of mentioned it because he won the Eisner again for lettering. Eventually, they're going to just have to call it the Stan Sakai Lettering Award. Just, you know, I think it's such a lost art. I don't think there's as much hand lettering going on as there once was. Everything is like super digital now, but that's not Stan. Everything is done traditional. He's still working on art boards, letters the boards. I mean, it's just phenomenal. The craftsmanship that goes into each issue of Usagi Yojimbo. And then here, anyone else? I love this, and then you get their reaction instantly. No, boss, and they've just now come under his control. Obviously, there's something weird going on with this woman who has given Usagi and his cousin shelter, lets them sleep by the hearth to rest, and Yuki is her name, which means snow. And as he says, an appropriate name for one who lives in these mountains. I was a lady in waiting to a great lord who was slain during the age of battles, and she withdrew to the mountains. Obviously, gonna let them stay until the weather kind of calms down. And as they're laying there and they're going to sleep, this is when the silence takes over. It's gotten cold. The hearth has gone out, and Usagi awakens only to see his cousin taken over by this woman who now appears to be a demon of some sort. So, leaving on an awesome cliffhanger. That's another thing. I always love the cliffhangers in Usagi. They're always great, always leaving you wanting more. We get this letter from Stan himself talking about, you know, they're back at Dark Horse. They've returned to the publisher with whom they had the longest tenure, which is interesting too, right? Like, going from so many, you know, almost 40 years, going from Thoughts and Images to Fantagraphics to Mirage, Dark Horse, IDW, and back to Dark Horse. You know, even talking about, you know, a lot, how mature Usagi has become over the years, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. He's no longer the brash, impulsive young samurai, but an older, wiser, and somewhat jaded warrior. A lot of stuff that's going to be happening. You know, he even talks about how time passes, that it doesn't age, and time doesn't pass the same there. And he discusses here how much time has passed between a certain amount of books, and like, so 12 years has passed for us, but only 10 months have passed in Usagi's time. So that's pretty cool to kind of like get a feel for, if you can condense that and for those specific books, and then you go back, you can really see how many years have truly passed since the creation. But again, look, we get the covers for the next issue in homage to Usagi 1. Just great covers by Jared Cullum, Ethan Young. And like I said, I will show off the other covers in the back because there's some really great variant covers. You got a Scotty Young, Paulo Rivera. Those are the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. You got some RE covers in here. One that really stood out to me was this David Mack, which is just phenomenal, from Things from Another World. But yeah, a bunch of great stuff. So excited to have Usagi Yojimbo back on the stands. Excited to see what's going to come out for the 40th. I hope some of the plans he talked about come to fruition. I know I'll be here for all of that. If you guys have never picked up an Usagi Yojimbo book, there's always a perfect jumping on point. You can jump in anywhere in this series and it's always going to be a great ride. I love how he does this too, because each miniseries has an issue 1, each has its own storyline, but it's really big, a part of a bigger tapestry of the entire saga of Usagi. And if you've never read a book, easily jump into this. And then you can go back and pick up some of the older stuff. I think you can jump in anywhere throughout, the almost 40-year history, and you will not be disappointed. Get out there, hit up your local shop, get a copy of this book. You will not regret it. And also check out the Stan Sakai interview. I also have a video going through the very first Usagi story arc that's on the channel as well. And make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video drops. And on that note, I'm out.